Hello everybody. We hope you have already consumed the latest released episode of Yellowstone Season 5 and analyzed every single bit of it. If you have watched it and yet still struggling to grasp what the hell is going on in the Yellowstone universe, don't worry. We are here to guide you through every single bit of detail that the Masterful series presents. As you all know, Yellowstone Season 5 started with a massive change in the Duttons' lives as John has become the governor of Montana. This is not the first time that a Dutton got involved with the politics, since Jamie has always been a side but crucial actor in the state's politics. And yet, this is the first time that a Dutton takes such a high role in the political hierarchy. The fact that Dutton is John Dutton among all is making this development even more interesting. John is known to be a man who loves to spend his entire time on his ranch, hang out with the horses, and care about his family alone. And yet now he is tasked with a lot of occupations, from visiting primary schools to attending inauguration ceremonies, all of which sound unbearable to John. That being said, John also has massive power in his hand, as he is the one who decides who can invest in Montana or not. Naturally, this means the alarm bells are ringing for the market equities, the biggest enemy of the Duttons. As you can predict, the first move that John has taken once he became the governor was to cancel Market Equity's airport construction. It was a bold but necessary move in John's opinion, but it made a lot of people very much angry with him. Jamie has been the only one who warned him about the possible consequences of such an action, and yet John still didn't care. This was a declaration of war, and he was aware of it. Expectedly, Market Equities was also aware of the declaration of war and ready to fight. So the company summoned its most powerful fighter, Sarah. This new executive is introduced as the strongest weapon of the Market Equities CEO, Caroline. Now the only thing that was left was to find bait to start attacking the Duttons. That bait was immediately clear to Sarah, Jamie, who was clearly the black sheep of the Duttons and was most vulnerable to the outside attacks. In episode 4, Sarah took the big step and dated Jamie. Now all we want to know is how this relationship will proceed and how much damage will Duttons receive from it. In episode 4, the date of the two warriors, Sarah and Jamie, quickly took a romantic turn as both were clearly attracted to one another. On Sarah's part, we are confident that she's a good actress and was basically pretending to be attracted to Jamie for the sake of her grand plan. On Jamie's part, the jury is still out. On the one hand, we are confident that Jamie is loyal to the Duttons, simply because he has no other choice. He is basically being directed by Beth, as she knows his deepest, darkest secrets, and he cannot risk making her get upset with him. So he has to do everything that Duttons want him to do. On the other hand, Jamie has a lot of grudges against Beth. So far, we didn't see his angry side much, as he never had the opportunity to portray his true self. He always had a weaker hand, which is why he always had to obey the orders of Beth. Let's be honest, which one of us is strong enough to stand against Beth? But everyone has their own limits, and we believe Jamie is gradually reaching that point. In our opinion, Beth's realization of the fact that Jamie has a son and declaring that she will take that boy away from him is a pretty big red line for Jamie. We believe from now on he might seek opportunities to topple Beth at the cost of losing his family altogether. We know that despite everything, Jamie still has a strong bond with John. And yet we don't think that bond is strong enough to be completely undermined by Beth. At that point, Sarah might be very much handy for Jamie. He might very well utilize Sarah as leverage against the Duttons, particularly Beth. He might make a deal with Beth on Sarah, stating that he would betray her only if Beth would leave him and his son alone. In fact, he might have already done it. As you would remember, when Jamie and Sarah were on their date, Beth was also there, watching them in the background. Now I'm going to know how Beth knew where the two were, and even the fact that the two were dating. Unless she has a detective behind Jamie, it's very difficult for her to follow him around everywhere. This means Jamie is probably the one who let Beth know that he was going to date Sarah. This means Jamie is smart enough to know that no one would sleep with the enemy unless there is a major interest in it. If we are right and Jamie is basically using Sarah to once again have leverage against Beth, then this means Jamie will eventually betray Sarah. Is this necessarily a bad thing, though? We know that if he wouldn't, it will be the other way around and Sarah will betray him. So in the end, we believe it's a fair game for both sides, as they both know that there cannot be anything real between the two. In the end, it's all just a power play, and they are nothing but weapons at the hand of their masters. What are your thoughts on Jamie and Sarah? Do you think Jamie will finally come out of his shell and stand against Beth? Let us know what you think in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video. Thank you for watching. See you soon.